You've spent countless hours in the garage with your dad. Now investing in that old car and working on it with your son reminds you of him. And his legacy lives on. Fund your passion with a low-interest home equity line of credit from Bank of Blue Valley.
Hello. What are you doing?
Hey, hot girl Summer. How are you doing? Oh, just shaking the hair there.
What?
You're just shaking the hair there.
My hair's getting blonder every time you see me.
Because you just got back from Orlando, right? And did someone have a party in your backyard in your pool?
We're not going to talk about that on here.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
All right, man. Having fun, talking Bank of Blue Valley, Burns and McDonnell, Drinks with Leaders, and we have an amazing executive guest. But tell me how you're doing.
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing good, doing good. Every time you let Will Fox and I, the president of Bank of Blue Valley, host, we always forget that you run 100% of the show, and without you, we're lost. And we always forget to tell people to tell us where they're tuning in from.
How'd you do last week?
It went great. We did really good. I mean, like whenever you're not managing the show, we fumble our way through it for like the first 2-3 minutes, and then we get really good. So Will's much better than I am at asking questions, and so are you.
Well, last week was Michael Mackey with you.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, Michael controls everything, so it's not that big of a deal. So Michael's a pro. He's done it for 10,000 hours. He could, he gives Joel Goldberg a run for his money.
Yeah, you think so?
No, Joel's amazing, but so is Michael. They're both amazing. I feel like Access Hollywood, Michael, and then sports, Joel.
What else has been going on?
Not much. Speaking of the banking and engineering world, when we contacted Burns McDonnell, they had hired 800 interns and 800 employees in 1 week. Wow. So needless to say, as the economy slows down, without Will Fox here to comment a little bit about what's going great and what's slowing down, Burns McDonnell is not slowing down. So they're rocking and rolling.
Right. Well, I'm ready for our guest. Today's going to be a fun show. Will was supposed to, but he had emergency something come up. It's summertime. Something always comes up during the summer, I feel like. So I'm going to co-host with you. I wasn't ready to do this, but I'm going to do it.
Well, you look really tan and your hair is really light, and you host many podcasts every single day. So it's like, you just say, hold my beer. I'm ready to go.
Ready?
Woo!
Great. All right. Our guest today is Andy.
Woo! I need a fidget spinner, dude. I need a fidget spinner. You didn't tell me.
Yes. I will turn this off so the lights aren't on. Yeah, you gotta take stuff from your kids. I mean, I get everything pre-show. But Andy, how are you doing today?
Doing well. It's a nice Tuesday here in Kansas City.
So what were you wearing before coming on the show when you were taking your children to soccer camp?
My Mahomes burger shirt underneath this. So, it was a hectic morning taking my son and 3 boys to the Hugh Williams soccer camp. And it was just herding cats to get them into my car. One of them dumped their whole jug of water all over my car. Luckily it's water, but still rather frustrating at 8 o'clock in the morning. So, but
that's right. Hugh's son has been on this show. He is an entrepreneur. And Aaron, how many people have been on? His name is Gil Williams. So Aaron, how many people have been on the show Drinks with Leaders?
Probably like over 600, 650, somewhere in there.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So I'm going to ask one question and I'm going to let Aaron drive, but it's going to be a long one.
No, I'm asking the first question. We have to do the first basic question. Who are you? What did you do? And how did you get to Kansas City?
That's an easy one. My name is Andy Tuley. I'm the president of Sethmar Transportation. We are third-party logistics. And I grew up in Kansas City. Grew up in Westwood. Went to Shawnee Mission East. Went to KU. Left and went to California for a year. Realized it was too expensive and moved back here.
I have one clarifying question. Did you go to Westwood Dental?
No, I went to a dentist that was at Shawnee Mission Parkway, back behind where the Strouds used to be, and I do not remember the name of the dentist.
My grandpa owned Westwood Dental growing up. So
that'd be a very small world.
Yeah. Okay, that was my only question. Go ahead, Scott.
So, question of what took you to California, and then if you could give us your career path to becoming president of one of the fastest growing companies in Kansas City today.
Sure. I graduated from KU. Didn't have girlfriend or anything really. Growing up in Kansas City, Lawrence, and one of my best friends from high school was moving out to San Francisco, and he had a roommate, needed a third guy, so I was like, sure, I'll come out. I think my share of the rent was like $1,100, and I want to say I paid $264 to live at 12th and Ohio my last 2 years. So it was a little bit of a sticker shock change. Came back to Kansas City, went to work for Standard Beverage in town as a merchandiser, like a sales trainee. And after doing that for about a year, I was like, I need to get out of bars and doing Captain Morgan demos on Wednesday nights. And so I went to work for C.H. Robinson in town, the largest domestic freight brokerage in the United States. Spent 5 years there, left and went to work at the Schooler Company. And started a brokerage for them on their NVO arm. Was there for 3 years and left to go over and form another local company under some private equity money. Spent 5 years growing that, and then decided I wanted to get away, to be honest, from private equity money and come, to locally owned, allows more freedom, to ideas and fail fast, whatever it is. That was very enticing to me. So I came over here, spent some time getting my feet under me, and then moved into that role a year and a half ago.
And then one quick question, and then I'll toss over to Aaron. How many associates did you have when you started? And then how many associates are you at today?
I think we had about 20 people when I started in June of 2020. And we're over 80 people now, 85 people probably. It's a little bit of a moving. We have some offers out on the table and some people starting. So it's been hectic.
That's a lot. Do you have another question, Scott?
No, I want to make sure that you don't beat me up when I ask too many questions.
No, you're good. So 85 people is a lot. How many of those, how often are all 85 together, and how, I'm imagining they're not all together a lot. How do you, a big question we always get on here, when you have a company that size where they're all not together day in and day out, how do you keep company culture intact?
That's a good point. We have an office in Springdale, Arkansas. We have an office in Chicago. We have an office in Denver. And then we have a couple of people that work remote, California, Nebraska, et cetera. And that's a big thing for us, like culture, especially in the freight world. It's a hard enough job, in my opinion, externally fighting the markets and everything else. So to me, being intentional with monthly, newsletters, doing happy hours with the offices, having, group team meetings, et cetera, that kind of stuff has been very, very paramount. And then last summer, we had our first ever, we hit a milestone month in April, and we brought everyone in, rented out the Blue Moon party deck at the Royals game, got everyone, hotel rooms that were from out of town, anyone that wanted to stay down at one of the casinos, rented a party bus out to the Royals game, came back, gave everyone $100 to go gamble at the casinos. And it was a blast because there's people that, we've grown so quickly, to your point, there's people that never met people that they work with on a daily basis, from Chicago to Kansas City or Arkansas to Kansas City, whatever it is. So it was a ton of fun, to bring everyone together. The smart people did not put their $100 on black. They hung on to their $100. But it was a ton of fun. Also did the American Royal Barbecue last year as a company event, but we also invited vendors and customers and partners. And so that was a really cool way to, again, bring people into town, let our customers meet people that maybe they work with, they hadn't met. We do Sandler sales training, and Dan Stout from Sandler was there. And, it was really cool just to bring so many different people together.
He's been on the show.
Oh, Dan? Yeah. He's a good friend of mine.
He is everywhere, and I always say he's a staple in the Kansas City business community and has been for 20 years. So a lot of times people in sales, maybe all of us, we always feel like we know everything. And I think Dan does a good job of teaching folks. Man, he's going to love this if you ever tuned in. It's like a great infomercial for him. But, how do you take your seasoned brokers and salespeople and and I'll call myself an old dog. How do you teach an old dog new tricks?
That's what we engaged Dan for. So, what's great with Dan is, in that 20-year career you referenced, and I think it's longer than that, but we won't date him. He's probably dealt with, everyone from I know it, leave me alone, to I'm hungry, humble, smart, I want to learn, and everything in between. He has a really good job of breaking it down to, in his words, the ridiculous, to where people can understand and see. And when people start engaging in it and they see other people doing it and there's tangible results, it creates that perpetual emotion, FOMO, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it also shows that you're investing in your people, which I think is huge and a great message to them that you're spending a good amount of money to have them go through the training. For your organization, you mentioned the markets are volatile, and the last couple of years are great. The start of this year, not so much, but you're seeing a lot of great headwinds going on the upside. For you, how do you handle the market volatility, and how do you coach your teams to handle that market volatility?
So I was always taught that, you don't make the market, you move with the market. And I think that's something that stuck with me, for the 17, 18 years I've been in freight. It's important to understand that, we're trading a commodity. We're buying a load from a customer, buying a truck or whatever, an LTL pallet, whatever it is. And so, with that, there is market volatility, and to keep your eye, big picture, understand that, you're not going to win necessarily every trade. You want to win every trade, but sometimes you focus on doing what's right for the customer, doing what's right for the carrier. That'll pay itself back in dividends, and not getting lost in that, the minutia of one single thing, because that's the stuff that really gets inside you and bothers you. So trying to coach big picture, understand that, what we're doing today won't be the same in 6 months. The freight market was unbelievably tight during COVID, outside of, the first maybe month or two. And then now it's gone, wildly loose again. And there's, that's, you can slice and dice it so many different ways, but it's so fragmented that it's hard to get a read on what Memphis is doing today versus Southern California versus Seattle versus Kissimmee, Florida. It's just so many variables involved.
So for you personally, if someone's watching us, they're trying to get a job at your company, what does your company look for on the sales hire? And then what do you look for on the service hire?
We had it on our wall, I guess it was 2 offices ago, big decal that said it takes what it takes. And it's a book, fantastic read. I forget the guy's name now. It's going to bother me. He passed away last year, but the whole mantra is life's full of options and choices, and you can go to Chick-fil-A for lunch or McDonald's or eat a salad, but if you want to play football at Alabama, you got to go to class, you got to go to weights. There are no options or choices. It takes what it takes to get it done. And that's kind of what we look for in here. We don't have C.H. Robinson's robust training platform, everything else. It's a lot more bootstrapping, everything else here. And the satisfaction when you get those wins is greater to me. But, people that want to step up, raise their hand, hey, I can take more on, I can buy into that. It really creates a compound effect. And, that momentum going forward of, everyone saying that, hey, man, if the trash needs to get taken out, say, I'll take it out. I don't care. That's, it takes what it takes. And I think, that's been a paramount, just, fabric weaved into our culture.
So I'll give you, it is Trevor
Moad.
There you go. You got it. So you remembered it.
Yeah, no, I just, we used to have a couple copies. Now I think about it, I don't know where they went, but we'd hand them to new hires, make them read it, write a quote in it, pass the book on. It very well still is probably going on. I just have not seen them, because we've been growing and whatnot. But it was important to people understand, like, not everything's going to be handed to you here. You're going to have to come in, and want to succeed.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you've already lost the book in a good way, that means it's spreading its way around, which is a great sign, because you no longer have to worry about it, because you have other people giving it to the new hires, which is awesome.
Yeah. I do want to go see who has it. There's 2 copies of it, but it'd be kind of cool to go back and look at the cover of it and see, and also with all the markets and everything else, it's really important that we can control what we can control, not to worry or stress out about things we can't control. We can't control what the produce market's going to do. We can't control what the economy is going to do, no matter what it is. But what we can control is proactive communication, hustle, being where we need to be, when we need to be there, being accountable for each and everyone's responsibilities. That's all stuff we can control.
Man, I'd love to be in your office. I could just only imagine the sports analogies that just go on a daily basis. So, Aaron, do you have your folks that come work for you read anything in particular?
No sports books for sure.
Well, I know that.
No, I mean, no, read something. I mean, no, we have training things and stuff, but not necessarily need books. How about you?
No. So people try to give me books all the time, and I always say I'm dyslexic as an excuse not to read it. But I have It Takes What It Takes, just because I think people can really latch onto it, because it's kind of like all hands on deck. And what we always say to people is, there's leadership money and then there's associate money. Tyler Notberg of U.S. Engineering, Andy, I don't know if you were there, if Aaron was there for a Maverick meeting, but he quit using the word employee a long time ago. So I don't use that word. But we just associate or leadership money, and it's their decision. We don't want to force anyone to do anything they don't want to. But if you want to take the leadership and you want to grow and you want to progress, you do what you have to do to get there, and you want to do it as fast as you can before getting engaged or having kids or having a big family or moving, because life is busy. And next thing you know, kids are having parties and people are spilling water bottles in the car on the way to soccer camp. So for you personally, what do you want to occur in your life and your business over the next 2 to 3 years?
Man, that's a big question.
Maybe not revenue goals, but like, what's the company known for, and what do you want the company to be known for?
I want to continue to build out our peripheral service offerings. I want to, continue to refine and scale, some of our processes and clean them up and drive cleaner, more efficient processes. There's a lot of technology in the freight sector that can do a lot of that stuff, and it needs to be engaged in an intentional, organized fashion to build, lack of a better term, building a house. I can't add this up here if I don't have the foundation here. So I want to spend a lot of time, on the operation piece, everything else, building out those offerings, and then really, have a clean sales side that, really tight arrows in your quiver, that when you go to sell them, you know exactly what you're selling, and making sure that what we sell, we execute on.
Without giving away any proprietary information, as a salesperson, you love arrows in your quiver. So I'm no longer just talking about freight, but what are those peripheral services, if you can share, that when someone comes to work for you, that they can make money, not just only brokering, they can make money doing other.
Yeah, and I don't really want to get into some of those things we're working on, but there's a lot of opportunity there for us to build, around Sethmar and create, more of a moat on some of our business. And we have some, I attribute 100% of our success to all our people here. They're fantastic. A lot of them are a lot smarter than me, in a lot of different areas. When you combine a bunch of people that have a passion and a knowledge base that complement each other well, it makes a great team, I'm with you in the fact that like there's nothing worse than getting on a call and it's like, hey, this is my boss, and like my heart sinks. I'm like, dude, no, we're teammates. I'm doing the same thing you are. We're fighting on the same team. We're working on the same objective. We're on the mission together. We're teammates. Let's go tackle that together. Like it grinds my gear, and it's just a mental mindset. And no one's more important than the other. It takes what it takes. It goes back to that.
Full circle.
There you go. Close the loop.
There you go. Aaron, feel free to chime in.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
When you hire a sales, because I feel like everybody always tells me the number one hiring, like the thing they have the hardest with is salespeople. What's like the number one quality you see in someone that makes you believe they'll be a good salesperson?
So if, obviously setting aside experienced people in our industry, if they're just coming out of college, I'm looking for, we use Mia Austin and the PI, like it's a survey. And I'm one of those, like your resume, how you interview makes up, 75, 80% of that, whatever it is. But the PI gives, maybe it's 10 to 15% of like, who is this person? How do they engage? And having a high A, very, not like I'm going to steamroll and like roll people over, but like assertiveness and want to, because I in my industry, I really feel like you need that because, we don't ask people to make 100 phone calls a day. Maybe it's make 5 to 10, something like that, and make them good. But be okay with stuff rolling off your back, if that makes sense.
Interesting. So is that culture index that you're referencing?
It's personality index. Culture index is their competitor.
Got it. Yeah. I mean, that's interesting. I always, a guy that's a friend of all of ours is Grant Gooding, and he will always he likes to understand all of them and break it down. That's really, really interesting.
You know which one I like to do? Because it's free.
What?
16personalities.com. Like anybody can go on the internet and do it, 16personalities.com. But it breaks you down into, so I have a lot of younger people that work for me, more of it's more like Gen Z millennials. And it kind of breaks it down to more like conversation like that, I believe.
Yeah.
I like it because I think I'm Gen Z.
And it's probably like, I'm a psychology major, minor in biology. So, to me, it's understanding like somebody, if I won't ever ask someone to do something I wouldn't do myself. And if you're going to ask someone to sit there and make phone calls, they need to have I don't want them to go home and like sit in the corner and be miserable. I want them to be able to go home and be like, have a great evening. I'm not taking any of those rejections personal. I'm a sociable person. I move fast. I maybe have a little bit of detail, but if you're going to sell stuff, you can get in trouble in the details and get real caught up on stuff. And it's like, let's just get it in the door and we will figure out how to execute on it. Because sometimes, you don't grow until you step outside your comfort zone. So,
right.
And that's the stuff that, and if you get bogged down in the minutia of every single thing, it's like, no, we'll figure it out. My buddies and I in high school used to have a running joke. That was always our line. We'll figure it out. And I've kind of manifested that into my professional career.
Yeah, it's awesome. I can't believe the high school college saying like, we'll figure it out. Obviously, Lacey loves that.
All right, Scott, we got 5 more minutes. What's your last one?
Man, I just want to hear stories of college of your buddy being like, hey, we'll figure it out. Like where that goes. Hey, we're going to the casino. We got $100. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. It's, turn that into 2000. Let's go. We're going to the Hawk.
Yeah. Now my mind's really spinning. I mentored a young lady and she gave me a hat that says the Hawk, established 1919. That you can only get from someone on campus at KU. And she thought I would enjoy it. And I said, yes, but no, my mind is racing from what you and Aaron are talking about from hiring standpoint is when you get someone that's so fresh and so new, you need to use those tools to analyze folks to figure out if they're going to be a good fit or not. So for where you want the growth to go, have there been lessons that you've learned in this last year or two where you wish you would have known now what you knew then?
Oh, 100%.
Like what are maybe some examples of like, things that you've learned a lot from that you're incorporating today?
Man, I mess something up every day. I'll be the first and foremost to raise my hand. And I think it's important to own that, because that's also needs to be built in here, that if you mess on them, let's hey, we all do it. Let's own it. Let's learn from it. Like big ones, I get going too fast sometimes, and it's important to slow down, maybe explain the why a little bit longer, because someone's not in my head and maybe I connected the dots differently than them. And so I think, I've probably missed that in a few instances, probably more than a few. And I've tried to be intentional over the last, that's one of the things that I rolled into this year. I was like, I need to make sure that I slow down a little bit, process things. Don't, if you make it on the fly, but make sure people understand, because otherwise it's going to get lost in translation, especially in a hyper growth environment.
Yeah, I was going to say that what makes you great is your speed and your quickness and your ability to get things done. Is it kind of hard to balance that? Because I always hey, leave Andy alone. He's crushing it. Let him go forward. And then I feel like it's easy to tell people to slow down. So how do you handle that emotionally? Is it just through lots of wins and failures, you kind of figure it out?
Yeah, I would say 100%, trials, tribulations, going through it 100, everything in life when you should learn from, good, bad, and different. And I think it's important to take that time and reflect on it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that I always remember, as far as to slow down, but 100%.
So the softball question, but also a fastball question. What is your company's fastball that separates you from the competition?
I would say the people that come in and out of this door and up and down the elevator at some of the other offices every day. Because in the freight brokerage world, Kansas City, Chicago, we may quote you within $25 of C.H. Robinson, of Ryan, of whoever it is in town. But when you have great people that do what they say they're going to do, that built a good relationship, just like in your business, Scott, pricing's in there, but a lot of the prices can come and go within, but it's those relationships you build with people. And so it's the people that come in and out of this place every day that make Sethmar awesome to me. And I'm just lucky to be part of it.
Ooh, I like the people aspect of it. So I'm going to ask a series of icebreakers to you and Erin, and she hates this one, but I always love doing it because it makes her mad.
Her face is great.
What was your favorite middle school or high school lunch?
I'm gonna go elementary school. Not the riblet, not the McRib, but they used to have the rib sandwich at Westford View.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we had it in middle school, but then they had the McRib at McDonald's, but they had that at my elementary school, and it was delicious.
Erin, what about yourself?
I don't like this question. I'm not answering it.
Oh, we almost got you. So a new one that we've done that's really interesting was, what was the name of your first pet, and what was your pet?
It was a bird named Cheap.
Erin?
These are stupid.
First pet? Okay, Erin. Jeez, man, oh man. Back from Orlando.
Nobody cares about this. I don't know. I've had so many.
As we ask these questions, I always think of it.
My first pet that died was my dog Sandy. She got ran over in Westwood.
Oh, there we go. Back to Westwood.
Yeah.
So, Andy, so as we close out the interview, we want to thank Bank Blue Valley, and we want to thank Burns & Mac for sponsoring. We want to thank yourself and also leading one of the fastest growing companies in Kansas City. So I'm sure it's got to be fun with all the recognition from all the magazine and media outlets. As we close out the interview, how do people learn about your company and apply if they are in Chicago or if they're in California and they want to work for a new freight broker?
It is on our website. You can click through. I think it's hosted through Indeed, but all our openings are on there, everything else, or email hr@sethmar.com.
Boom. All right, Erin.
Yes, thank you to Burns & McDonnell and Bank Blue Valley. Andy, sorry you had to answer silly questions at the end. I'm trying to get it under control. Trying to get it under control so more people will come on here. But we really appreciate you coming on. Make sure you connect with Andy, and we will see you same time, same place next week.
Awesome. Thank you.